Welcome back to another episode of Learning Beyond the Classroom, the video series. My name is Basan, and today we're going to learn some grammar. We're learning about simple past with to be. Let's get in. Let's start with to be in the affirmative, so positive. In present tense, we have am, is, and are. When we talk about past tense, we use the verbs was for am, was for is, and were for are. So, let's take a look. Now, let's look at some affirmative sentences. Let's start with the present. So, now. Say it with me. I am happy. Good. Number 2. He is rich. Number 3. She is a doctor. And last, it is easy. Great job. Okay, so we've spoken about the present. Now, we're going to change it into the past. Remember, am becomes was, and is also becomes was. So, let's take a look. In the past, we can say, I was sad. Good. Say it with me. I was sad. Good. So, in the past, I was sad, but now I am happy. Good. Let's say that one more time. In the past, I was sad, but now I am happy. Good job. Okay, let's do number 2. He was poor. Great. So, in the past, he was poor, but now he is rich. Great. Okay, next we have she was a student. We'll say it again. In the past, she was a student, but now she is a doctor. Okay, last one. It was hard. Great job. So, in the past, it was hard, but now it is easy. Excellent job. So, what is the structure for our sentence? Well, it goes I, or he, or she, or it, plus was. And then we have an adjective, sad, poor, or a noun, a student, a doctor. Okay, well done. Now, let's look at the next sentences. So, we have we, you, and they. Let's read the sentences together. Say it with me. We are early. Good job. Number 2. You are at school. Next. They are policemen. Well done. Good job. So, that is the present, now. What about the past? Well, remember, we change are into were. So we can say, we were late. Say it with me. We were late. Well done. Now, let's put it in one more sentence. So, in the past, we were late. But now, we are early. Let's look at the next sentence. You were at home. Say it with me. You were at home. Good. Now, let's put it in a big sentence. In the past, you were at home. Now, you are at school. Good. Next, they were students. Again, they were students. Well done. Now let's put it in a big sentence. In the past, they were students, but now they are policemen. Very good. Okay, now let's look at the structure for our answers. So, we can say we, or you, or they, plus were. And then we have an adjective, late, or a noun, at home, students. Okay, there you go. Now you know the structure for he, she, it, they, we, you, and I. Let's move on. Now we're going to go through our summary. Let's go through this one more time. I is the subject. Was is the verb to be. So, I was tired this morning. Again, I was tired this morning. Next, we have you. So, our subject is you, and our verb to be is were. You were very fat. Good. Okay. Next is he. For he, as the subject, we say was. Our example. He was the best in his team. Very good. Next is she. We use was again. She was late for class. We do the same for it. So, was. It was a rainy day. Next we have we. And we use the verb were. So, let's put it in a sentence. We were at home yesterday. Very good. Okay, last one. Our subject is they, and the verb we use is were. So, we say, they were happy with the trip. Okay, well done. Now, let's practice. So, we have they, it, the dog, my brothers, Mary, and Mike. And then we can say, busy all day, very hot yesterday, thirsty, teachers, and best friends. I want you to write down the correct form of the verb to be in past simple. So, was or were. Okay, you have 1 minute. Write down the correct answer and we'll check your answers. Go. Hey, welcome back. Let's check your answers. So, let's start from the top. They were busy all day. Good. Number 2. It was very hot yesterday. Next, we have the word the dog. So, the dog was thirsty. Next on our list we have my brothers. So the answer is were, because my brothers is the same as they. So, my brothers were teachers. Great. And last, Mary and Mike were best friends. Remember, Mary and Mike together is they. That's why we use were. Okay, now we finished practicing. So let's learn about the verb to be in negative. Let's take a look. So, in present, we can say am not, is not, and are not. We can also say it short. I'm not. He isn't. She isn't. It isn't. And they aren't. We aren't. You aren't. Remember, this is long and this is short. Now, let's look at the negative in past simple. So, when we take it to the past, am becomes was, is becomes was, and are becomes were. But we keep the word not. So, was not, and were not. We can also say these in a short way. So, was not can be said wasn't. He wasn't. She wasn't. And were not can be said like weren't. Again, weren't. Okay, next, let's look at some negative sentences. So, if you remember, we already did this. Remember, I was happy. Now, we're going to change them into negative. So remember, we add the word not. Was, not, wasn't. So we can say, I wasn't sad. Read it with me. I wasn't sad. Again, I wasn't sad. Very good. He wasn't poor. Again, he wasn't poor. Next, she wasn't a student. Again, she wasn't a student. And last, it wasn't hard. One more time. It wasn't hard. So, how do we make a negative sentence? Let's look at the structure. So we have I, or he, or she, or it, plus was not, or wasn't, plus an adjective, sad, poor, or a noun, a student. Okay, there you go. That is the structure for negative sentences with I, he, she, and it. Now, let's look at they, we, and you. So remember, we already did this. We were early. So, let's change it into the negative. Remember, we add the word not. So, were and not becomes weren't. And it looks like this. We weren't late. Say it with me. We weren't late. Very good. Next, you weren't at home. Again, you weren't at home. And last, they weren't teachers. Very good. Okay, now let's look at the structure. So it looks very much the same as before. We, or you, or they, plus were not, weren't, plus an adjective, late, or a noun, at home, teachers. Okay, well done. Now we're finished with our affirmative and negative in the simple past with to be. That is the end of part 1. Tune in to part 2 to find out about questions in the simple past. My name is Basan, and thank you from Beyond English. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!